Right. So, like I said, I've been watching all the six Mission Impossible CIA Black Op films, and of course, they are all the West Coast False Flag, Tower Bridge Black Op, and Notre Dame Black Op Ritual. Okay, all of them. But mainly the 2 year long plus West Coast False Flag in 5 parts. Now, I was watching Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol yesterday, and I found it. Basically, found it. The whole second half of that movie, or shall we say, second, the final third of that movie, is the exact timeline. If they just show it to you, they're just showing it to you. Now, there's a scene, and it begins with this scene where Jeremy Renner says to Ethan, he says, "Oh, we've all got our secrets, Ethan, haven't we?" And Ethan, instead of replying, he just reaches in his pocket and takes a look at his phone. And this is what he sees on his phone. How about that, eh? November the 3rd. I was looking for that in all those six movies, and there it was. November the 3rd, and then the timeline really starts. So you got your election date, your Trump re-election date, the 3/11, November the 3rd, 2020. I reckon that's it. I reckon that's it, and that's the best confirmation I've seen yet. Okay. This is what he does. He picks up the phone, sees November the 3rd when he's got his secrets. Okay. Then you have the timeline. Okay. The next scene he mentions nuclear war. The scene after that he mentions dog. Shush. The next scene after that, he mentions nuclear strike. The scene after that, they're launching a nuclear missile on the west coast of America from a Russian rogue boomer, a nuclear submarine. Right? Goes into San Francisco Bay, right, west coast. Just like John Denver did, apparently, flew his plane into San Francisco Bay. That's apparently how he died. And of course, the Alien Covenant, Alien Paradise, basically says that because you've got the Noomi Rapace Noren singing the song "Country Road," which is John Denver, which is a San Francisco Bay reference. I thought I'd mention it anyway. So after that, what you've got the scene where they're in Seattle. Not only in Seattle, they're at Pier 47, I think it was, in Seattle. You've got the missile on the television, and Benji's saying boom randomly, and Ethan says, "We were in the dark, but we got through." Well, of course, it's a blackout reference. So you've got everything. You've got November the 3rd, then the timeline starts. You've got the submarine missile, the rogue boomer. You got Seattle. You got the pier at Seattle. You got the place beyond the Pines. With the Ferris wheel, the Albert Pike Place Market beyond Pine Street. It's all right there. And then the very next movie, Mission Impossible: Rogue Boomer Nation, Rogue Nation, starts with this, with a Space Needle. Seattle reference again. And there's the scene that it comes from a submarine in Mission Impossible 4 very soon after you see that November the 3rd, and that's the missile from a submarine hitting the west coast. I mean, it's all there, and I reckon they're locked in. They got to do it. They can't not do it. They then mention me in Mission Impossible Fallout, another nuke reference. Now I've got a lot of notes I wrote down. Now which one was this? Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, I do believe. The one with Baldwin saying to Ethan, he says, "Hunt, I hope you realize you've set back UK-American relations to the American Revolution." And what have I been showing you recently? The American Revolution was the American Civil War. So you've also got the American Civil War reference. You've got the whole deal in these movies. There's other stuff. I rewatched The Rock yesterday with the, Nick Cage as a virus agent, as it were. And he mentions Seattle in the interrogation room. It's a grunge thing, Seattle. Again, we're on the West Coast. Again, we've got missiles in San Francisco, West Coast. The Rock. Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it? And again, you've got David Morse, right? David Morse is front and center on these movies. He was in 12 Monkeys, of course, as the Doomsday virus guy. He was in World War Z with Brad from the Pit. Again, Brad from the Pit is front and center on this fake virus thing, this crown. And he's also in The Rock. So David Morse is in 12 Monkeys, The Rock, and World War Z. And all of these movies are about the psyops now during the 5-stage West Coast false flag, the Seattle false flag. Another thing that happens in The Rock, Nicolas Cage comes out of his cage, doesn't he? Comes out of his cage, because we're all going to get caged up, comes out of the Alcatraz cage, and then he launches a missile at the Candyman guy, the actor. He's quite a good actor, actually. I forgot his name, but and he says, "Do you like Elton John's song? Do you like the Elton John song Rocket Man?" To the guy, and then he launches the rocket on him. You'll remember that scene from the end of the Rock, yeah. Elton John, Rocket Man. Does that ring a bell? And I said that when that first came out, right? I said that film is another missile reference, of course, Rocket Man, and it's a missile reference in the film The Rock on the West Coast. Yeah. There's a new game. I gotta find it. I forgot to put it in. Hold on a second. It's called Plague. Just come out. Game came out just perfectly in time for. Yeah, this will be it. Oh no, that's an older one. I wonder. Plague Inc., a real-time strategy simulation video game developed by Pandemic Creations. No, this says initial release was May 26, 2012. That doesn't matter. I mean, any time before January the 22nd, 2020, huh? But let's have a look at this one. There might be another one. I don't know if it's Plague Inc. But anyway, people are playing this one right now. I think it's called Plague. Oh look, Patient Zero. Yeah. So you got that as well. You got tons of stuff. I mean, of course, you got the Corona now. Song by the G Unit, Little Pump, yeah, Corona Now. Of course, and that came out towards the end of last year, just in time, just beforehand, by these gay Little Pump, Little Uzi Vert, Little this, Little that, and look, he's doing the old Masonic spectacle grab, the one eye of the anus there, of course. Corona Now. Yeah. Of course. There's tons more. I'm going to do more videos on the rest. I better draw a line on this one because I've got lots more about Vanessa Kirby and Corona. Of course, it meaning the crown and there's lots of good stuff. Crown Vic. Yeah, Corona Vic'tim, Crown Vic. 2019 film. Vanessa Kirby starring in the Crown series. Oh yeah, tons of stuff. There she is, Vanessa Kirby in The Crown. Corona meaning crown. You only have to look at the Corona beer. Don't know whether I've got that here. Hold on a second. That a Corona meaning crown, right? Just trying to find that Corona. There you go. See, Corona Extra. There you go. Corona Extra. Crown. Crown. Okay? And Crown Vic. Corona Vic'tim. See? Crown Vic'tim. 2019 film. Corona Vic'tim. Yeah, they love to pre-advertise. Crown, Corona, you see? Bottom there. Crown, Corona. Yeah. So this is the big thing. That's the one. That's the one right there. November the 3rd, and then the timeline starts for the submarine missile launch on the west coast. And then you see Seattle as well, and all of that, the blackout references and everything. So I'll draw it there.